Okay, in this video, we're going to work on the 1.3.4, the CAD modeling skills. We're going to do the plate. So it starts out telling us, just going through my project Lead the Way, starting out with number 1. So we're going to create a new folder, but we're all good. So we're going to sketch a 4-inch by 6-inch rectangle. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch. And I'm just going to do it on the XY plane, and I'm going to put a rectangle in, but this time it's going to be a 2-point center. So put your center here on the origin, and then pull out, and my horizontal edge has to be 6, and my vertical is going to be 4. Okay, so that looks like this. Now I'm going to add polygons to it. So we have not done polygons yet, so first off I'm going to move this down. Okay, so let's add some polygons. So we're going to come up here under rectangle, and you see we have polygons. Now, they don't tell you this right away, but if you scoot down to number 6, the first one is going to be a pentagon. That's going to be a circumscribed. So I'm going over here, and this is circumscribed right here. So I'm going to click on that, and pentagon is 5, so make this a 5. Now, I don't want to tie it to anything initially, so I'm going to put it kind of over here and just kind of pull out. Now, this is kind of the shape, the direction they want it to be, so I'm going to say OK, and that sticks. Now, I need to get the radius of it, so I'm going to dimension, and I'm going to come here and go out to the side, and that's supposed to be 0.35, so change that to 0.35. Okay, you go out to the side because this one is circumscribed, which means the circle is in the inside. So when I go out to the side like that, that's the radius of the circle, which is inside this pentagon. That's why it's circumscribed. All right, so that's how I know that's where the radius is located. Okay, the next polygon they want is going to be a hexagon. So I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to grab my polygon tool again, come down to polygon. Now I want the 5 to be a 6. This is going to be a hexagon, and this is going to be an inscribed hexagon. So look over here, and that says inscribed. So I have that on. I'm going to be over, let me see where I am. Okay, so I'm going to be over in this other quadrant, and let's put it, I don't want to tie it to anything, so I'm going to put it right like this, and I'm going to look at this for a sec. Yep. Okay, let me just do that again. So I'm going to grab a polygon, it's 6, it's this one inscribed, it's someplace over here, and the direction they kind of want it, I'm going to try and mimic what they have here. It looks like something like, maybe something like that. Okay, so I'm going to say OK. Now get the measurement. Now because this one is inscribed, I'm going to grab from here to here, because the circle's on the outside. This is your diameter right there, and that's supposed to be 0.25. Those done. Okay, so then the other polygon they want us to add is a triangle. Now these polygons, by the way, are all equilateral, so they all have the same lengths. Triangles are 3. I'm not going to worry about inscribed or anything else. It doesn't matter at this point. Does it matter? No, not really. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's put this someplace in here, and I'm just looking at this. It looks like they kind of want it to go, let's go like this. Okay? All right, so now I want the length to be what? Let me just I think it's 1.25, yes. Okay, so escape out of that. I'm going to now go into my dimension, and again, from here to here, try that again, from here to here. No, I'm going to pull it straight across. Let me escape out of that. Let's try it this side, from here to here. Okay, better yet, let's just try to grab a side. Okay, so my dimension tool is off. Okay, dimension tool on. Grab a side, pull it out. Grab a side, that's better. Okay, see how I pulled it out? Don't grab the middle. I want this to be 1.25. Okay, so we've got that. All right, so now I'm going to look. They give us more information about these three shapes. So it says the center of the pentagon is on a vertical line through the center of the rectangle. So I'm going to now look at my constraints. So I want this to be coincident. So this center has to be coincident with this. And did that do anything for us? This center with this. On a vertical line through the center of the rectangle. So it didn't like that. So let me try that again. Okay, so this has to be with this. That doesn't like that. So let me try something else. What if we do collinear and we do this with this? Okay, so I'm going to play around with this and get back to you in just... Okay, so I discovered a little something. I am trying to make this coincident. So let's see, I want to go back to sketch. Okay, and what I found is it's not recognizing this vertical line. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my construction line, and I'm going to draw a line from here to here. Okay, so now I have a construction line there. So I'm going to escape out of my line tool. I'm going to turn off my construction, and now I'm going to try to make this coincident. So this point here has to be coincident with this line. Okay, so we did that. Okay, so then the next thing, they wanted to have one side of the pentagon is horizontal and located at 0.5 inches above the center point of the rectangle. Okay, so let me make this horizontal. So I'm going to grab my horizontal constraint. I'm going to make this line horizontal. Okay, that's good. Now, it's going to be located at a distance of 0.5. So from here to that line is going to be a distance of 0.5. Okay, so that's done. Okay, next thing. We're going to go back to part C. One side of the hexagon is parallel with the 6-inch side of the rectangle. Okay, so one side is parallel with the 6-inch side. Okay, so let me make this a little bit bigger, and let's go ahead and get rid of the dimension key, and I want to make things parallel. Here's a horizontal, here's a parallel. I can do parallel. Okay, parallel, let's make this with this. All right, so that was good. See how I turned that? All right, next thing. So I'm looking at C, now I'm going to go to D. The center of the hexagon is coincident with the diagonal of the rectangle. Okay, so grab your coincident constraint, and here's the center, and here's the diagonal. Done. Then it says the center of the hexagon is 0.5 inches below the top side of the rectangle. Okay, I need my dimension, and I need to dimension from the center to this top, and this has to be 0.5. Okay, that slides that up the diagonal. Very good. Okay, then I go down to F, and this is F under 6. One vertex of the equilateral triangle is coincident with a corner of the rectangle. Okay, so why don't we take this coincident key, and maybe let's make this coincident with that. Okay, so that's outside, may not be what they want, but we'll see if we can play around with this. Okay, so then what else are they saying? The center point of the equilateral triangle is coincident with the diagonal. Okay, so that's going to move it for me. Okay, so I have coincident again, so I'm going to say the center point of the diagonal of the triangle, which is here, has to be coincident with this. Okay, so that flipped that. So that's good. Okay, so I just went and looked at the shape that they have, and I'll tell you where it is. So I am looking under G of 6, and it looks like my shape and their shapes all look good. So I think, let's see, is there anything else I want to do? So I think I'm good. So I'm happy with that. And what I want to do now is look at the sketch pattern discussion, and they tell me they want to create 3 patterns as shown in figure 6. So 6 is under well, this is under number 7. So you should look at that. And the patterns we're going to do, they want a rectangular pattern, a circular pattern here, and then a linear pattern here. Okay, so let's try to do the circular pattern first. So I'm going to say I want a circular pattern, and the geometry is this shape, so grab all of the sides of the pentagon. And they want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we toggle the geometry. And they want to have it around an axis. So the axis is going to be the center right here. That's my axis. And you can see they kind of put it there for us right away. So that was the 6. So we just want 5. And we are doing a 360, we are doing a 360 degree rotation. So that should do it. And I am happy with that. Okay, now they have that little circle in the middle. I don't have that. So let me go back up. And do I want to do anything with that? No, I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone right now. Well, I could do this. Let me go back 1. Okay, I'm going to go back 1, and I want to show you the other options. So circular pattern. We already know that I want this geometry, so I'm just going to do this again so I can show you one more step. Got that done. The axis is this. Okay, so did they say the axis? I'm going to pick the axis. I'm going to do that. Okay, and I want 5. And now instead of saying, okay, I want to show you something else. Okay, so then I'm going to open this up. And I could suppress things. This is associative and fitted. I'm not sure what this does, so let's see if we turn them off. Did anything happen? I'm going to leave them both on, and I'm not suppressing anything, so I believe I'm just going to hit OK, and I'm back to where I was, so that's fine. Okay, so the next one is going to be a rectangular pattern. So come up here, it's a rectangular pattern, and this is going to be my shape. Okay, that's the geometry. And then the direction. So I want to go horizontal. So in terms of my direction, I'm going to grab this line, and then I don't want to go to the right. I want to go to the left, so I'm going to go this way. Okay, how many do I want? It looks like I want 2. So let me say, I guess I want to have 3 in a row. So let's see, if I put 3 here, what happens? If I say 3, okay, that puts 2. Okay, so they're too far away. So let's make them a spacing of like 0.5 and see what that looks like. Okay, so they're a little bit, those are too close. So let me go back into rectangular. Let me get out of there, Okay, go back into rectangular. And I'm going to do this again. And this is going to be, tell it to do the geometry. So grab this, 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 this. I want 3 in all, and I'm going to tell it the direction first. The direction is not that way, so flip your direction. The direction's that way, and I want to have 3. Okay, and I want them to be, how about if I say 0.7 or 0.8? What does that look like? So I can kind of see it. That looks pretty good. Does that look like what I have in here? Let me just look. Notice they're not giving you measurements, so you are eyeballing things. Okay, so I think that's a little bit too far. So how about if we do 0.6? That looks a little bit more like it. So 0.6 it is. So hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so that's 0.6, but now I have more to do. So now I'm going to come over here, and I want to go, I'm going to grab this line, okay, and I want to go in that direction, so that's good. I only want 2, right? Good. And those are definitely too far away. So let me make them like 0.5. All right, that's a little bit too close. So how about 0.7? That doesn't look bad. Yeah, I could probably make it even 0.75. Okay, now notice something is missing. They have removed one of these. So we're going to open this, and we're going to say suppress. And we want to suppress this one. Okay? And then say OK. All right, so it looks to me like I may have not picked this side. So I'm going to turn this off and go ahead and fix that. But as long as you have a complete hexagon, you're good to go. Let me just fix mine. Okay, so I fixed my rectangles, or my shapes, so they're all hexagons now. Okay, the last thing we're going to work on is the triangle, and that's going to be a linear pattern. Let me just go up 1 second. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so linear pattern is going to be, which one? I'm going to use a rectangle. I'm going to use a rectangular pattern, but I'm not going to go in both directions. Okay, so the shape I want is the geometry. That's going to be the triangle. Grab all 3. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to say the direction. Now, this time I want to go down this diagonal. So I'm going that direction. So I'm okay there. So then what's going to happen now is I need to figure out how many of these I want and how close. All right, so now let's figure out about this triangle. I need to get many shapes, but they're going to be really close. So let's see if I can say, what if they're like 0.2? So let's go back. You always want to be looking at the pictures, so go back into your Project Lead the Way and look at them since we are not given any measurements. So I would make it maybe a little bit more, so about 0.25. Does that look a little bit better? Okay, what does 0.3 look like? Okay, I like 0.3 better. So then how many do I want is the question. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what does 7 look like? That looks too many because they don't want to crowd into the other shape. So how about if I do 5? I think I'm happy with 5. Could I do 6? No. So 5 is my magic number, and that all looks good. So I'm going to say, okay. All right, so I've got all the shapes done. So let me just clean up some things. I don't really need to have these measurements, so I'm just going to delete the measurements because they sometimes just get in the way. So I'm just going to go around and kind of clean up a little bit before we do the next thing. Okay. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let me finish my sketch. All right, so now we've got some things to do. So look at what they're telling us to do next. So they say, estimate the extrude distance and extrude the appropriate sketch shapes to obtain a model that resembles the flat plate shown. Okay, this is in step 9. All right, so I'm going to extrude. Now, I'm going to extrude. Okay, so we're going to pick a face. So we're going to extrude this. So look what happens when we extrude. So that went out by 1 inch. So I think that is way too big. So let's see if we can make it less. So why don't we say like 0.5? So this is going to be like 0.5. What does that look like? That looks more like it. We probably could even do 0.4 and kind of capture what they want us to do. Okay, that looks good. Now, they've complicated our life slightly because they're doing something a little bit different on a couple of these. So they want us to create the Pentagonal Extrusions. Okay, so we've got to play around with that. And to do that, there's some additional information we have to have. So it says, in order to do that, so now at this point, we are going to project some existing geometry. Okay, we're okay with what they have so far. Is that true? So let me just see one thing. I think they want us to mess around a little bit with these triangle shapes. So let me do that a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to go back to the front. Okay, so in terms of how we're extruding, so if I play around a little bit, what if I lose that? All right, so that's interesting. So how do I, okay, so I'm going to kind of try to take some pieces. So I don't want to do that. So let me go back one. Okay, so let me come back and we'll do this one more time. I'm going to go back to this home. I'm going to extrude the whole thing. And I decided that 0.4 was it, right? Okay, so now go to the front and look at your triangles. So my triangles are all triangles right now. Do I really want that? I really don't. Let me go back over here. And I think I need to do something a little bit different here. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this be for right now. We can come back and we can play around with this extrusion. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to the front right now, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say put a new sketch on there. Okay, what they want me to do is to project the geometry. So I'm going to project this geometry, and they want me to project these pentagons here. So did I get all of them? Yeah, they're all yellow, so that's good. Here. So as I do this, they're all going to turn yellow. And here. Okay, so I've got all the yellows. Okay, so everything is yellow, so that's great. Okay, so those have been projected onto this shape. Okay, so now what they want me to do, they want to use the offset. So I'm going to go back into my direction so I can tell you exactly what I'm doing and where I'm getting this. So we've done that. We're going to use the offset tool to create 3 new pentagons, each offset 0.1 inches outside each projected pentagon, and apply then a 0.2 inch fillet to the corners of each one. Okay, so if I say offset, I'm going to offset each of these. I'm going to offset this by what did they say? They said by 0.1. So this is going to be 0.1, enter. Okay, take this, but do I want to offset it outside? So I'm going to redo that because that was inside. So let me come back, and I'm going to say offset. Here's offset. I want to offset this by 0.1 outside. Okay, so that's good. Offset this by 0.1 outside, that's good. Offset this by 0.1 outside, so that's good. Okay, so now what they want us to do is go to the fillet tool. And they want us to fillet this, and they're saying 0.2, so I will change that to 0.2 in just a sec. Okay, so I'm making this 0.2 instead. Notice this is a radial measurement. Okay, so we have those. Oh, I didn't do this one yet. That's 0.2, and I didn't do this one yet. So it looks like I have them all. So this and this, this and this, this and this, this and this, this and this. Okay, and then I'm going to continue over here. Now I'm thinking that these are really close, so I may change this a little bit. So what if we make this 0.23? How about 0.24? And I wonder if it did them. I may have to go back around. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do it by 0.24. So let me get out of here. I'm going to go back and do mine. Well, actually, I'm just going to leave them. Okay, so I'm going to leave them be. So whatever that was, it's good enough at this point. Okay, so let's look back at the directions. We have all of this. So then they asked us to finish the sketch. So I finished the sketch. I'm going to turn it on its side a little bit so I can see this. Okay, so once they say extrude the areas between the larger and smaller pentagons to resemble the part shown in figure 8. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to the front. I'm going to say extrude, and I'm going to pick those areas. Let's see if it will pick it for me. Yes. Okay, and then I'm going to say, okay, oh wait, do they want a taper? They don't want any taper, so I think we're all good there. We're going to say okay. Okay, but I don't think that did that for me. So I'm going to go back and do that again. So let me go back in here. I'm going to edit the feature. Okay, so they only want me to extrude, not this whole thing. So why do I have these solid pieces? So let me think about this. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so let me delete this extrusion. Okay, okay, okay. So what I have to do is I should have edited the sketch. Yes. All right, so let me go back and do the sketch again. So we'll try this again. So I'm going to do mine again. So new sketch is on this front. And let me turn this off, and I will get myself set up, and then I'll turn it back on. Okay, so I wanted to redo this extrusion. So make your piece really big. All right, and I just want to extrude. You see where the green lights up? That's what I want to extrude. Okay, and I'm going to extrude it up, so that's good. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Make it big. You only want to extrude the green. Go to the next one. Only extrude the green. Okay, say okay. And for some reason that failed. So let me say cancel. Okay, so let's try that again. So maybe I just need to make sure I can see everything a little bit better. All right, let's try it again. We're going to extrude, and I want to extrude just the green. Okay, that seems okay. Okay, just the green. That seems okay. And just this. Okay, so something is wrong, so I will play with this and come back to you. See if yours will work. Okay, so I'm at the point of the extrusion. Everything's working fine now, but I wanted to show you what it looked like before I actually completed it. So 0.5 is pretty far out. So I'm thinking maybe 0.35. Yeah, that sounds more reasonable. So I'm going to say okay. So let's look at the front. This is what this looks like. If I look at the side, you'll see the extrusions. So the only thing I really want to fix is this, because they don't have all of these triangles cut out. So I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to edit this feature. Okay, so I want to come up to the front. That's all good. But the difference is I don't want to extrude all of these guys. So let's see if I can. What if I have this in there, and I have maybe, let me see if I can turn these on one at a time. That, and maybe that. No, that's not good, so I don't want that. Do I? Well, actually, I could have that, couldn't I? And then that. Nope, I shouldn't have done that. So can I go back one? Okay, so I am back on extrude, and I'm going to see what I'm doing here. So go back to here. It's already done the extrusion, so I'm going to go back and edit this. Edit. Feature. Okay, go to the front again, and let's see if we can get that triangle a little bit better. Okay, so I was able to edit the sketch. Let me show you what I did. So I went back into extrusion 1, and I said edit feature. Okay, I turned it to the front, and so maybe I'll take that back. Well, I think I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it here. Okay, what I did was I cleared the selections that I had, and now I'm going to select this profile, so that's one thing. Now I'm going to work with the triangles. So let's work with the triangles. I'm going to bring this up a little bit bigger. And I want to delete, I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I'm going to delete that. And I only want to delete that. And then perhaps just that. Okay, so look what's happening there as I'm extruding. Okay, so that's one arrowhead. Then I'm going to delete here. Don't delete the whole triangles, remember, because that's what messes you up. And then delete here, and delete here. Okay, so now we have two triangles. So then, two little arrowheads. What I don't want is that one. And that does it. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. And now when you look at our shape, it looks like exactly what they had. So I think we're all good. Let's look at the front to make sure it's good. Yep, front's good. That's all good. We are done.